Good afternoon, African Confessions. I am back with another episode. There is a message that I want to share with you guys, and the message reads like this. Good afternoon, my brother. I am writing this with a broken heart. At this moment, I don't know what to do anymore because my son abused my own 7-year-old girl. Let me say, I was raised in a chaos home. My mother left me when I was about 10 years old. From that day up to today, I have never known this thing called mother's love. I told myself that I would never leave my children because I grew up with my grandmother. She was a carefree person. She did not care about us at all. My grandmother would leave us, and I am the oldest. She would leave us with 4 siblings behind me. I had to become the mother of those children. I never loved my mom because of the way that she left us. She left us. I do not understand why our mother left us, but why did she had to do something like that? My mother moved in with another woman's husband. She smashed that man from her friend. I hate my mother. I hate my mother because I hate to be the mother of his children. I had to take care of my other siblings, and she never came back because she got married to that man. She loves that man, and nothing will come between her and the love of her life. That led me to being a confused child. That led me to do a lot of terrible mistakes in my life. Some of them I even regret up until this day. I was a confused child, and I became pregnant when I was only in grade 9. That is how I got my firstborn son. With the father of my son, there was no love between us. It was me looking for love, and it was him using me, pretending to love me. Let me say, I was hungry for love, and because my grandmother was not involved in my life, she could not say anything about this boy that I was dating. That is how I got pregnant. That boy, when he impregnated me, he was 15 years old. I left and I moved on to Johannesburg, and I found a job there. And then I met my husband. We then got married. My mother never came. The only thing that she wants from me now is money. Looks like his husband is very important to her. Whenever my mother speaks with me, she will complain. She will tell me that she doesn't have money. She will complain, saying that she is now suffering from high blood pressure and she will die very soon. Sometimes I feel guilty, even if I don't want to. I feel so guilty because she is the woman who gave birth to me. In the end, I'll be left with no choice than to send her some money. Each and every time I have to send my mother money. Yes, I then gave birth to 2 children, 1 girl and 1 boy. I felt empty. I felt like I was repeating what my mother did. So I had to take my son from his family. I forgot to tell you that he was raised by his father's side because I was not working and I was in grade 9. I was only a child. Every night I felt empty. The only thing that troubled me was that if I was going to bring my son into my house, will my current husband be happy if I brought my son into my life? I wanted to be the best mom for my son. I wanted to be there and compensate for all the time that I was not present in his life. One day, I spoke to my husband. I begged my husband to accommodate of a son. He was not interested in the idea because he said, I did not raise this boy. What if he brings attitudes and characters that are not Christian-like in this house? But if you are a mother, the love of a mother, it's deeper than the deepest valley. I really wanted to be with my son because I felt like I was repeating history. And I didn't want this thing to keep on happening. I had to break this cycle. One day, my husband decided to surprise me. As I was sleeping on a Sunday morning, I heard the knock on the door, and here he was. It was my son. My son was there, standing by the door. What a surprise to me. I cried. I was so happy. I left this boy when he was only 1 year old. This was a long time ago. The reason why I had left my son, it is because I was still a young girl. I was a confused girl. When I had fallen pregnant, I was just a little girl. I was young, but now I wanted to make things right. We stay in a 1-bedroom apartment. My husband has an average job, but because of this move, I had to look for a job. Unfortunately, I could not get a proper job, but I was working for people in the houses, cleaning and cooking and doing all of the chores so that I could assist my husband financially, since we had an extra child that was not his. I did not want him to take advantage of my son. No, that was the beginning of the problem, because I did not have any helper. So I asked my older son to stay and take care of the other kids that I had. I was always working. Either it was Sundays or during the week. My older son, he was now responsible of taking care of his siblings. I thought that everything was going to be okay, but I didn't know that my older son, he had other intentions. That is when he took advantage and abused That is when he took advantage and abused my other daughter. He threatened her and he told her never to say any word. I don't want to lie. I never noticed any changes on my daughter, because as a child who was threatened, she was afraid, so she chose to kept quiet. I didn't even see anything wrong on her. She was always calm. Up to now, I keep on asking myself, what exactly did I do wrong? All that I wanted to do was to give my son a better life. Back to my story. One day, my daughter's teacher called me to the school. I thought it was one of those visits. Maybe my daughter was having an academic challenge. Little did I know that the devil had a bigger surprise. The teacher, as I entered into the class, I could see her face was not happy. My heart started to beat fast. Something told me that there was a problem. She looked me right into my eyes and asked me, "Who do you stay with at home?" I told her that I was staying with my husband and my son, who had recently joined us. Then she asked me the name of my son, and I told her the name of my son. That is when she told me that I had told her that at home she was being abused by a stepbrother. When I heard this news, I was heartbroken. I felt like fainting, but tears started to roll down my cheeks. How could my own son do such a terrible thing? I felt sorry for my own daughter, because she is just a child. What did she do to deserve such a treatment, such a punishment? First thing that came to my mind, what was my own husband, the father of that girl, what was he going to say? He had done us a favor. He had told me before that he didn't want this boy in our house, but here I was. I had forced him to accept my own son. I thought that finally we were going to become a very happy family, but that boy, he had brought trouble in my life. She was just a child and I was the mother of that boy. No, my problem is maybe he is a victim of abuse, because who taught him to do such a terrible thing? There was no choice, even if I wanted to hide this whole thing, because I am the mother. I felt protective towards my daughter, and at that same time I felt protective towards my own son. I wanted to protect them both. I didn't know who to choose. I felt sorry for my own son, but at that very same moment, I was feeling sorry for my own daughter. In that moment, when I was still thinking what to do, the teacher then gave me another blow. She told me that as a school, they had already contacted the police. I said, "The police? Why the police? Do you mean that the police right now? Do you mean that the police are going to come and take my son away?" And she said yes. And at that moment, I saw the police van driving into the school. I was heartbroken. They took the statements, then they started searching for my boy. The police didn't take long to find my boy. He was playing with other kids in the park. Then they arrested him. I had to do this. This was the right thing to do. When my husband heard everything that had happened, he just sat down and he cried and he cried. But I just want to thank God that he understood my position. I had to apologize to him. My son was sent to juvenile jail, and that is where he is doing his correctional. I don't know what to do. I don't even know if I should visit him. He is my child. Yes, he is my child. Right now, I don't know what to do because he is in jail saving his time. I don't know if I should pay him a visit because I am his mother. But should I go and visit him? What will my husband say? Because as we are speaking right now, my husband doesn't even know that I am thinking of visiting my son in jail. Should I do this thing in secret? Please tell me what you think in the comment section. It is eating me up. I just want to see him one more time. Dear listeners, right there was a message that I received from our dear sister. Please let us speak with her in the comment section. Such a painful story. Who do you choose, your daughter or your son?